and we've cut down a lot of trees. Today we'll talk about what we're doing today with more trees.
So this is one of our new baby trees. October Glory Maple Easy Start. Rachel bought these from, what's the name of the place? Stark Brothers. Stark Brothers. A lot of people buy from Stark Brothers. I think they had a sale recently, and I suspect, I don't know if she's told me, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning and she couldn't sleep. She saw the sale and she bought a whole bunch of trees. So we got them planted last weekend. A couple of our boys came over and they helped us get them all planted. Today we are going to give them a fighting chance because here on our property the deer pressure is very, very, very bad, to the point where right back over here is where Rachel usually hunts. I come out from our house back over there at night, almost every night, with my flashlight, and I shine back here and there's deer back here every night, and deer love maple trees. So we're gonna try something new this year. One of our friends has a large chunk of property that he planted hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of nut trees and fruit trees. He's like, if you're planting trees and you got deer pressure, you gotta get these things, they're awesome. There's a couple different companies that make them. These are the Miracle Tree tubes. I think the other ones are called Combi tubes. It's basically a plastic tube that you put over the top of your tree as it's growing. Once it gets too big for this tube, there's a spot on the side somewhere that should be perforated. I'm not seeing it without my glasses. And the tube will basically split once the tree gets big enough. There's holes at the top for ventilation. The bottom is not ventilated. There's zip ties on here that you can zip tie it to a stake to kind of hold it in place. And I think there's no holes in the bottom, so if you wanted to spray herbicides and stuff, you could. We don't really have any interest in doing that. We're gonna put all these around all of our little baby trees this year and see if it helps them survive the deers. These little zip ties, you can actually undo them. They're like reversible. If you push the little button, you can actually loosen it and tighten it. So you can take the tube on and off if you wanted. We just bought these on Amazon. I'll put a link to the ones that we bought.
So we just don't want any chance of mice or voles or anything getting in there. Not packing too much dirt around, but at least closing it off to give everything a chance. And we'll just use some of the pasture clippings and mulch around it. So this one here is it's right here, this little guy. He is a red sunset maple. And you can see behind me, these white tubes. Our neighbors have lots of trees planted as well. And we tried to alternate kind of spacing. So there's a couple here, and I tried to put ours in between theirs. So eventually, when we catch up to theirs and they're all mature, it's gonna be just this beautiful maple row. So they planted theirs, I'm guessing like, it was probably the year that we moved in. So they're probably 5 years old. So that kind of gives you an idea of maybe what we could expect in 5 years if they take off. I had my grandson out here with us when we were planting these. And I was thinking to myself, you know, one day he may be the one tapping these for maple syrup. Even if we're not around, they'll be here for somebody to harvest. Hopefully they have well-intended plans to use this property the way that we are and just put in good, productive woodlots and things like that. So straight back there is where we planted our orchard. I was trying to count how many trees have we planted here. And so there's like 24 trees in the orchard that we've planted. A couple have died, and we've replaced them, plus the 10 blueberry bushes. So I won't count those as trees. And then we've planted one cherry up front in the front yard. The landscaping around the house, I won't count those either. And then all of our pine trees. So I'm gonna guess we're right around 30 to 35 trees. And then we just planted all of these. So add that to it, that's 11. So we're getting close to our 50 new tree mark planted on this property. And that's what all the trees that we've planted are. They provide something for us and our home. They provide something for future generations that will be here. And while we're taking a lot of trees out, we're maintaining trees that will also do the same thing. So all of our black walnuts, we're keeping those trees. Some of the American elms, we're keeping those. Of course, my beautiful magnolias. And the trees that are junk trees or invasive, we're getting rid of those. So they are nothing but limb breakers. That's all that they are. So getting rid of the junk trees, and we're trying to reclaim this property a little bit each and every year and make it better. I tell him when we're old, it's going to be worth it. We're going to be sitting in our walkers in the kitchen, looking out over these views and saying, look what we built, look what we made. So pretty exciting stuff.
So the distance that we planted these, the first couple that are right here, the last ones to do in this row, maybe 15 to 18 feet. And then the rest of them, as they go down, they're all about 25 feet apart. We have 2 left to do on this side of the property, and all the rest of them are over on the other side. So getting close. They ship with these little bamboo stakes and these little ties to hold them up, but with these tubes I think they're gonna be perfectly fine.
Todd,
without it. Yes, Rachel?
your beard is quite magical right now in that sun. It's like literally glowing.
Is it?
Yes.
Maybe I'm your angel.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh, just stand up. Do that again. Kneel back up so you're full sun. It's like literally glimmering.
So these tubes come with bird nets, and probably doesn't need to be down quite that low. I was just going to set it inside. So it makes, what can happen is like little finches, little sparrows will get down in there and there's not enough space for their wingspan to fly back out and they would die. So this is just to protect birds and things from going down in there. So one thing I will say is this is definitely not a cheap way to plant your property with trees. If you have the ability to harvest young trees and transplant them, that's optimal. And we've successfully done that with like Todd's pines that we pulled and harvested from our cabin. So we've transplanted quite a few I believe they're almost all white pines. And we just don't have a good source of like quality maples around us. Another tree that I want to plant here is probably chestnuts and beech trees. So get a few chestnuts and a few beech trees and line the back fence row with those. But that being said, I have tons of oaks, but I don't need any more oaks.
We do. We have a lot of oak at the cabin.
Ton of oak, ton of walnut. Like walnut comes up here like weeds, and walnut grows so fast. I just don't need any more walnuts on the property because I am getting older and they're like a death hazard when they drop their nuts. Anything else you want to say about sourcing trees?
No, not really. I mean, it can be hard if you don't have somebody with property with trees on it that you can go and take from. It's probably not right to go like onto public land and take things.
Yeah.
So you definitely need to know somebody who has trees that you can say, hey, can I come and take some of your saplings and things like that? Or even Facebook Marketplace might be a good option.
Yep.
There's a lot of people sell baby trees on there. You can avoid shipping costs by doing that. So we had to ship all these in. So.
Yeah. I think my purpose of saying all that was to say, look around you on your own property. What do you have that you can relocate and purposefully plant versus always having to go buy? Because we definitely try to do that. Like mulberry trees, that's another thing. We get mulberry saplings all the time that we could probably plant a couple more mulberries back here. So anyway, just something to think about. Like I said, this is not cheap. So for these 11 maple trees, I'll just be transparent. It was, I don't know, somewhere between $500 and $800. I don't remember because he was probably right. It was 3 o'clock in the morning when I bought those. And that's my weakness when I can't sleep is I think, what do I need to buy? And it's fall, and fall is the best time to plant trees. So we're in Michigan, and it's November 1st, 2nd, and it is just prime conditions to plant a tree right now. Plant them while they're going dormant. There's no stress on them. When spring comes, they'll come back to life in a new home, a new location, and take off for you.
Rachel was asking me if I didn't like this one because this one had all the grass by it. I must have missed this one the day when I was back here with my knife. Isn't he beautiful?
So beautiful.
Absolutely. Yeah, great. His trunk's almost like that big now already.
And we just transplanted him last fall.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was last fall or the year before.
So the sun's going down pretty fast. We have 4 maples over here. We just did one. Todd's doing the next one. And then there's 2 more back here. So we're going to wrap this up. But we wanted to just bring to you what we're doing with planting trees on the property. And hopefully if you haven't planted any trees yet, you get inspired to, there's no better time than yesterday, so might as well start today. Talk to you guys later. See you on the next video.
One more branch on this side.